Last week, we returned from the holiday with an excellent race between Dominic Roselli and Gavin Isley that went to the Gasman. And this week, we traveled to the virtual Wheatland, Missouri to keep the momentum moving forward at a racetrack that has created a phenomenal finish when we visited last season. Welcome to tonight's running of the BRP iRacing series on BRPtv. I'm Joe Donahue, joined as always by the icon himself, Jonathan Howe, for Race 7 of this series, the BRPtv Frozen Frenzy at the virtual Lucas Oil Speedway. It's fitting to call this race a frenzy based off of what we saw last year, and after last week as well, Jonathan. This has been a race that I personally have been looking forward to for a while, and I'm sure that you would agree.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite places that we come to, Joe. I mean, for me, we have the gift of having Ken Schrader come to our area to run some races, and obviously is pretty heavily involved with this facility, and he likes to talk about it quite a bit, and this gives me the chance to experience it. I mean, obviously you can't exactly just get down to Missouri from Canada all that easily on any given weekend, so this is a close second, and I just like what this racetrack provides. There's lots of room to race. It feels like the banking is a place that's going to provide us some different action. It almost kind of reminds me of Merrittville in some weird ways.
I think that's fair, actually, because from what I've seen with your broadcasts from one of the tracks that I've never visited, which is Merrittville in person, you guys sort of have a berm that you can cross over, and albeit there's no wall on the outside a lot of the way around, you guys do kind of have this situation where you can, if you get in a little hot, you can kind of skip over. And at least at Lucas Oil, I think it's a little more forgiving. The space up there, you can get back onto the racetrack pretty easily and get your toe back in line and everything. But in that regard, this might give some of your local guys an opportunity to have a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, I think the way that some of the racetracks around Southern Ontario and even in Western New York, I think this is kind of going to feel a little bit similar to that. Like you say, it flattens out pretty aggressively on the top side of the racetrack. So with how it flattens out, I don't think we're going to see guys going all the way to the wall, which has kind of been the story for a lot of the racetracks that we've gone to on the tour thus far. Is everybody's using every inch trying to run the high side, get all the momentum wound up in these 358s, or in these big blocks, I should say. And I think this week we're going to see a very different race because there's that flattened off top side.
Definitely, and I also think this week we're going to see a little bit of a different race because, fortunately for us, we got a couple more of our drivers back on the block. Had a small field, we'll say, for Weedsport last week, but it's nice to see that we're up to 17 drivers registered for the session. We still got 2 minutes left to go in this practice session before we skip over to 3 minutes of qualifying and then into our heat races tonight. Tonight's the BRPtv Frozen Frenzy, and we call it the Frenzy. Well, it's frozen because, holy cow, it's cold. I think some of these guys are probably racing inside their homes, and on the outside, it's in the negatives. I know up in Canada, y'all use Celsius, so you're definitely in the negatives, but we've got...
It's always negative.
Well, it's always negative. We've got a cold front going through. I have a coworker down in Texas that's got a solid 16 degrees outside in the area around Austin. That's pretty ridiculous. So I guess it should be without saying, even though we do our best to have good programs at BRPtv, we take this very seriously. Unfortunately, even for as handsome as Jonathan is and for how much experience I've got, we cannot control the weather. So just as a forewarning, if we have any technical miscues tonight, we've had some wind in my area. Might be because of Mother Nature. So we will trudge on as best as we can tonight, but hopefully that statement was all for nothing, but just as a forewarning. 1 minute left to go.
We talked about it last week. When the transformer randomly blew up. I think it was about this time last year.
That's right.
I mean, anything can happen as we're entering the final minute here of practice. What are you seeing, Joe? I mean, Dirk Cardine at the top of the standings. Didn't expect to see that already.
Yeah, well, remember Dean Reynolds last year? He won the 47 Technology Cyber Nationals, which was at Williams Grove. Very top-dominant track and race that evening, and that's pretty much exactly what we're seeing from all these guys running practice laps now. Nobody even trudging down to think about the bottom side, as I was about to watch Anthony Roselli crash there, but So that might be part of it. And I know Dean likes a slick racetrack. We're seeing Cody Higbee at the top. That's something we're used to seeing this season. And we've also got Brian Berger up there, who has missed a few races and is back with us here ready to go. Always happy to see the 60 car out on track. So it's looking good, Jonathan, but we're going to skip it over to qualifying now. Dean Reynolds going to have the target on his back as they will all get 3 minutes to do 2 laps, and we'll see who rounds that one out at the top of the board. We'll give it a quick...
Looking strong at the top. I mean, Reynolds, I don't even know how to handicap this off of what I've seen, because I think we've seen a lot of track change already. So I'm excited to see these heats play out, because I think that's really what's going to be the telltale sign of who's got speed and who's got this place figured out.
Very much so. Jonathan, question for you. Do you have anybody specifically in this session you're itching to see run some qualifying laps here? Anybody that pokes out in your brain as someone we got to check in on as they run around these two facility laps here?
I feel like coming off last week, we got to keep an eye on the Rosellis here. I mean, they're not necessarily high up on the speed chart in practice necessarily, but what can they do in this qualifying session? Could they jump to the top of the board? They used a bit of a thinner field last week to get to the top of the grid, and in particular, Dominic Roselli did a great job managing the lead and managing the race and challenging for the win.
Yes, he did. And here comes Roselli to the line. He's going to go to 8th place. His brother is P4 at the moment. Ryan Beagle put up the fastest lap time, but there is the number 7 car of Anthony Roselli. And Gavin Isley, winner last week, he almost goes to the top there, Jonathan.
Yeah, good stuff from Gavin Isley, and you can see he's abandoned the bottom of the racetrack. He is pushing all the way up to the outside. Now I feel like I'm going to have to bite my tongue, because these guys definitely are pushing it towards the top side of the racetrack. In this qualifying session. Pat Reiser back with us. We'll see what Pat's got tonight. I think he's probably looking for a good rebound. 11th fastest there, but might have some more speed in it when it's all said and done.
Definitely. And here's Brian Berger. He was 3rd fastest in practice, 15th out of 17, so 3rd slowest actually in qualifying. That's a little surprising to see such a drop-off between those two sessions, but these laps are not very far apart time-wise, Jonathan, so definitely you got to be on your P's and Q's to get a good qualifying lap in and be competitive in this series.
Yeah, just a half second separating for the top of this order to the bottom of the 17 cars. Good to see Nick Sheridan, the rookie, back with us and putting up a solid time, 5th fastest. And I think maybe the biggest surprise, 3 drivers beat Cody Higbee in qualifying. Yeah,
Al Slight being one of them. I know Al's had some work going on in his home, that his rig's kind of been out of service for a little while. He hasn't been with us in, I think, a few races. So good to see Al Slight back, and even better to see him at the top of the board. Always like when the guys come back and check that out. Travis Cunningham down there more towards the bottom of the order as well. Jonathan, I know you and him with the Southern Ontario Dirt Show. I'm sure you guys talk a lot about this stuff, and I'd be curious what kind of thinking goes on behind the eyes of TC90 in a situation like this where you're kind of further down that order.
He kind of, I think, has been taking it a little bit more conservative, where he's got a heat win already this year. And I think in the race where he ended up winning the heat, he kind of got ran over and wasn't really with the computer troubles, not necessarily that he's having, but some of the computer slowdowns that he's had. He doesn't really like being up towards the front. He kind of wants to mind his P's and Q's towards the back and then see if he can capitalize towards the end if there's a lot of chaos or mischief in front of him.
Well, hey, you got a good opportunity to do that at a racetrack like this. We know from last year's experience that's very possible. So we'll see if it happens. Probably won't, but maybe it could. In the first heat race of the night, we got 9 drivers lined up for 8 laps to start off our program in the Frozen Frenzy. And why not start on the pole with the big dog, Ryan Beagle, the reigning champion of this series. Went fastest in qualifying. He will be to the inside of the Slight Electrical number 2 of Alan Slight. Starting from 3rd place is going to be Nick Sheridan, back on the block and ready to rock in the 45 car. To his outside, another rookie in this series, driving with Van Sickle Electric on the side this weekend, or this week, I should say. It's Anthony Roselli. Tyler Pachalski is going to roll off from 5th place, driving the 21P we're used to seeing with this series, and starting from 6th going to be the Teach in the Murder Graphics number 33. That's Pat Reiser. Rolling from 7th going to be the Pistol Jamie Porter in the number 45 car, St. Catharines Marina on the side, and on his outside will be the Phase 3 Racing number 60 of Brian Berger out of New York. Rounding out on the grid for the first heat race of the evening out of Pennsylvania. Going to be the number 49. Always brings a good crowd with to these live streams. It's going to be Dean Meitzler, and we got to shout out everybody who's watching along with us at BRPtv. Jonathan, I heard a rumor that Chuck Norris holds doors open for you. What's your comment on that?
I can neither confirm nor deny, as a famous Toronto Maple Leafs GM once upon a time said about some contracts. But I can confirm that I'm liking what I'm seeing from Ryan Beagle tonight. And we're giving this guy track position. Could be dangerous to have the big dog starting up front. So if I'm Slade, if I'm Sheridan, if I'm Roselli, I'm trying to get by the big dog as quick as I can and make sure that I'm starting feature time ahead of that 84.
I definitely agree with that. Big Dog's always one to watch as we get ready to go out of turn number 4. He will lead us to the green and start off our racing program tonight. It's all Ryan Beagle and Al Slight for heat race number 1 tonight, and the green flag's out. Let's go racing, you bunch of hot dogs, into the first corner. Beagle goes way to the bottom. Nick Sheridan follows him. There's a lot of grip down there. You can see how tight those race cars are, Jonathan.
Yeah, early in this session, I think we're going to see some speed down low, but I think the more these cars run around the outside, and the more they run through the middle of the racetrack, I think we're going to see that become the dominant groove. Right now, Sheridan making up some time on the bottom side. How about the hot tamale? We got the 21P moving up through the field. Tyler Pachalski doing a good job, but you can see just can't quite get the drive off the bottom side of the racetrack.
No, not quite. A little bit of contact there from Anthony Roselli and the 21P car. Now Porter's going to have an opportunity. Looks to me right now like kind of that middle, even up into the high side, is the way to go. Nick Sheridan trying to make the bottom still work, but Ryan Beagle, who has just complete control over where he puts that race car right now, no challenge. No challenge at all,
Smooth
Jonathan.
as silk. Just looks so completely smooth, and that's why I said it was going to be important to try to get out in front of this guy as quick as you possibly can. Sheridan's messing around with that bottom side. He's trying to make it work, and now Al Slate's going down there as well to try to follow the tire tracks of that 045 ride of Nick Sheridan. He'll go to the top side this time, as well as Anthony Roselli. Oh, careful there, Nicky. Yeah, I thought Sheridan was going to clip that inside barrier, and that could really do some damage. I almost wonder, Joe, with the new tire model and the fact you can get flats, never mind suspension damage, if you clip one of those inside barriers, maybe you could get a flat from doing something like that.
Oh, you can bust the suspension on these cars nowadays in iRacing, so you really do have to be careful with those tires down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Lap and a half to go here. Nick Sheridan, I think he did clip it, but it doesn't look like the damage is too severe. So maybe a lesson learned for later in the night as the white flag comes out for the big dog up front. He has absolutely no challenge behind him, Jonathan.
Yeah, I think what the lesson we're learning right now is the top side has all the speed, but I think if you want to make passes, you're going to have to be able to use that middle to lower groove to get around other guys on this racetrack. Get a little side-by-side action to the line. Nick Sheridan's going to hang on a second behind the big dog. It's Beagle, Sheridan, Slate. And did Jamie Porter get that 4th spot there? That would look like a side-by-side battle as well. No, it was Roselli that got it.
Yep, Roselli got it. It was close, though, at the line, and it will go by way of the 7 car. So that's that one single bonus point available to Anthony at the end of heat race number 1. And, hey, 8 more cars, 8 more laps. Heat race number 2, here's how they line up. Starting from the pole, last week's winner, driving the number 18 car, is Gavin Isley to his outside. The championship points leader by about 50 points in the 97 is Cody Higbee. Starting from 3rd, Dirt Car Dean in the number 79, it's Dean Reynolds, fastest in practice. And to his outside will be the number 28 machine of our good friend Jeff Sharp. Starting from 5th, the MDR Designs Murder Graphics 03 is Matt DeRitter, and 6th place on the grid is going to go to Dominic Roselli in the Van Sickle Electric. Very colorful. Love that car, number 80. Starting from 7th, the Southern Ontario Dirt Show Tammy 10 Media MDR Designs car of Travis Cunningham, TC90. And to his outside in the 3A, longtime driver in this series of the Roar Logistics 3A, Adam Hilton. 8 more drivers, 8 more laps. Jonathan Howe, I'll give you the start here. Do you watch more for Higbee on the top with the momentum, or do you watch for the guy who's got control of the start, Gavin Isley, on the bottom?
Well, I think the top side is the place that you want to be. If I trust anybody to take the lead with this much control on a restart from the bottom side, it's going to be Gavin Isley. But don't count out Dirk Gardine there. We know that he has no fear in that 79 machine, and he might just bomb it in there in that first corner. As we go green this time, flag is up, pedals are down, and into turn 1 we go. and it is the Catfish, but Gavin Isley who uses the bottom side successfully. Here comes crossover move into 3 and 4 from Cody Higbee as he goes towards the lower half of the racetrack, and Isley will lead lap 1.
He definitely tried, though. And how about Jeff Sharp running up to the top of the racetrack? He's using every inch he can, and it gives him a ton of momentum down the straightaway. Now, it looks like Reynolds actually is competing in the middle of the racetrack. And, the middle of the racetrack put Cody Higbee in a battle for the lead now, Jonathan. We got him side by side.
Yeah, you see, I think 3 and 4's got a little bit more grip. It almost seems like the guys can arc the cars a little bit better through the bottom and middle side of the racetrack in 3 and 4 as opposed to 1 and 2. For whatever reason, it seems like the guys are taking a really sharp line through 1 and 2, and that's not allowing them to drive off the way they need to. As I say that, though, Cody Higbee with a big move down the backstretch.
I got to hit a blimp cam here, get an overhead shot of all of this action going on, because this is a fantastic heat race shaping up in the front and the middle of the group here. Hilton looks like he missed the turn a little bit, goes high, but you got DeRitter and Reynolds side by side for that final points paying position. Adam Hilton sliding nobody at the back of it. Now Cody Higbee dropping off like a rock from the front, and it goes back by way of the gas.
Oh, we got cars going around.
And that's Matt DeRitter backwards in the middle of 1 and 2.
Yeah, DeRitter got turned, but everybody started stacking up because Cody Higbee actually the last time, or in the corner previous to that incident, actually clipped the inside barrier. You're saying he was dropping. I don't know how much he hurt that race car, but he was the first person I saw that really clipped one of those inside tires. So far has been able to hang on a second, but he's had to move up the racetrack away from that bottom line.
Yeah, and he might just go into conservation mode here. I don't think you're going to be able to catch Gavin Isley with a half a lap to go, but he did get back by Jeff Sharp, and will probably hold on to second as we come through the final set of corners. Gavin Isley going to win heat race number 2 this evening over Cody Higbee, Jeff Sharp, and the final points-paying position goes to the 79 of Dean Reynolds. Nice way to finish out our heat racing action as we're going to skip into the 5-minute warm-up session. Jonathan, the racetrack looked pretty racy at this point. Now, do you think that means we're going to have a good race going forward, or are we expecting kind of what we saw with the main event of the Chili Bowl this past weekend, where we use up the life of the track too early and then it becomes a bottom train?
I think the optimism here is that guys won't just go and send it to the bottom immediately. I think if we get the majority of the field running around the outside, that's going to preserve a little bit of the middle and bottom side for later in the race, and that's where we might see some moves. But if you feel like you've got speed in the car and you feel like you can move forward early in this one, maybe you're going to be aggressive and you're going to jump down there and try to get things going. But it's going to be tough to say how this plays out. I thought this might be a bit more of like a lower bottom end racetrack, and now after watching those heats, I'm kind of thinking the top side is where the speed is.
I am expecting that we will see the top come into play more than the bottom until we get to the slider stuff that we saw that created a really great finish last year. I've wondered in the past about if you go above where the banking is, and you can see it on screen where the track hasn't been used up there, that represents where there is banking and where there isn't anymore. Sometimes people just try to stick their right rear just a little over there and get that extra grip. I don't think it worked that well last year. It might come into play, but I don't know. It'd be interesting. I love this racetrack. I mean, Jonathan, did they have this game in the World of Outlaws not the sim game, the console game?
I haven't jumped on in the last week or so to try it out. I feel like for whatever reason it might be, though. I'm going to look it up right now, actually. But I have not had a chance to drive this one, and I'm kind of regretting that because it really does look like a great place. It really just looks like a straightforward dirt track. There's nothing too fancy, especially coming off of what we saw at Weed Sport, right? Where we were talking about that odd shape to that racetrack and how it's not necessarily a traditional oval by any means. There's a bit of a dog leg to the back part of that racetrack. Almost makes the second corner a bit of a straightaway between the first corner. But I'm looking forward to this race. I think it's going to be a pretty racy race, and I think the biggest thing, Joe, is there's a lot of room to maneuver out there. So if these guys watch their P's and Q's, I think we're going to get a pretty clean race. I mean, could be the announcer jinx saying that, but I'm willing to say it.
Well, if we have a little bit of a chaotic evening. Y'all know where to send your hate mail. It's going to Jonathan Howe's front door.
That's at Jonathan on air if you want to find me on social, I guess, to do that.
Yeah, there you go. I kind of agree with you, though. I think we have a relatively low car count, and it seems like that usually means the guys don't have too many issues. Once the track slicks off, that always adds to the fire, and I do think it's slicking off kind of quickly here. We're watching, actually, we can check out what's going on with Cunningham and Slight right here. They're about getting into each other. Showing off what the slider line looks like a little bit. TC90 might be showing his cards a little early. But nonetheless, about a minute and a half before we get into the 75 lap, feature race for the BRPtv Frozen Frenzy. And while we have a minute, why not shout out some of our partners and sponsors for this series. We got MDR Designs, Murder Graphics, the Southern Ontario Dirt Show, Creative Turnings, Dig Race Products, and 47 Technology, all alongside of BRPtv. They have been, some of them long time, some of them not quite as long time, but still loyal partners and sponsors of this series. We appreciate all of them coming on board. Also got to shout out all of the sponsors and partners for the drivers on their cars. A lot of these guys are bringing in sponsors either that they're related to, they may work for, they might own the business, they might have them on their real race cars even. And this is a good opportunity for a lot of those people, like Nick Sheridan with some of these sponsors, Al Slight with his Slight Electrical, Cody Higbee and his sponsors on his real race car. It's a good opportunity to take those partners, put them on something that you can use in January, which a lot of them normally can't. So I want to thank all of them. And of course, everybody who sticks with us at BRPtv. I don't even know what I could say about it. It's really been an honor and a privilege to build up this. Whoa. Oh boy, that was frightening. It's been an honor to be a part of it, build it up, get it to where we are today. As now, yeah, there's the chaos that you were talking about, Jonathan. I hope that was what you jinxed and would be done with that.
Yeah, a little early. We'll get it out of the way before.
Yeah, get it out of the way before. That's what we're talking about. Well, warm-up's ending. Actually, let's jump this back up on the screen. Dominic Rosselli put in the fastest lap time, Jonathan. What do you think of that?
I think this guy might be prepared to pick off where he left off last time. I mean, Gavin Isley right behind him with that quick time. Maybe it's those two at the top of the charts again.
Very much could be. Those were the two that were fighting for it last week out. Oh, boy. All right. One of my more favorite times of the evening. It is starting grid time here on BRPtv. I'll go ahead and run us through it. We're starting on the pole with the big dog, driving car number 84 out of Ontario, the Auckland Insurance APC Auto Parts machine of Ryan Beagle. To his outside, in the number 18 car, the Performance Automotive Showtime Custom Wraps car of the gas man, Gavin Isley. Starting on the inside of row 2, we've got Nick Sheridan back on the block in the 45S car. To his outside is going to be Cody Higbee in the Iceless number 97. Going from 5th place, going to be the Slight Electrical number 2 of Alan Slight. And from his outside in 6th place, the number 28 car is Jeff Sharp out of New York. Starting 7th, the 7 car, Anthony Roselli in the House of Speed Van Sickle Electric Machine. To his outside, Dirt Car Dean's going to be driving the Super Dirt Car Series number 79 from 8th starting spot. Starting 9th, going to be the Pistol in car number 45 from Welland, Ontario, Evergreen Thrift Store, and St. Catharines Marina on the side for Jamie Porter. And rounding out the top 10, going to be the 3A, the Roar Logistics MVP Network Consulting Machine of Adam Hilton. Starting from 11th in the 21P, the Smithville RV Nickel Street Clothesline car from Ontario, Canada, Tyler Pachalski, and to his outside in position number 12. Car number 80, that is D. Rose from Monticello, New York. Van Sickle Electric 5L Enterprises on the side for Dominic Rosselli. Starting 13th, guy with all of the fans in the chat, rockauto.com and Icon on the side for Dean Meitzler. And starting 14th in the Tammy 10 Media, Bowen's Automotive, and of course that other one, that podcast,
Southern Ontario Dirt Show.
Yeah, that one, like that. Something like that. I think that's what they call it for Travis Cunningham. The Teach, Pat Reiser going from 15th place in car number 33 with Murder Graphics on the side with Cactus Fabrication as well. Matt DeRitter from Murder Graphics and MDR Design starts 16th, and 17th is going to go to the number 60, the Phase 3 Racing Jam Performance Brian Berger Machine. All right, 75 laps. Lots of talking, lots of noise, but we're going to wrap it all up, put a bow on top of it, and bring it to you. The BRPtv Frozen Frenzy is ready to go at the hands of the big dog, and we're racing into turn number 1 at Lucas Oil Speedway.
Down on the bottom side, Beagle trying to come away with the advantage, but he's got a lot of pressure from behind from Sheridan. Sheridan does not get off the corner as well as they're stacking up in the back of the field. Porter and Cunningham have issues, and I think we're going to see a caution early in this one.
Yes, we are. Tyler Pachalski was facing the wrong direction there for a minute in turn number 1. I think this is the first time this season, Jonathan, that we didn't make it through turn number 1. We'll try to grab a replay quick and check out what happened to our friend in the 21P, and I think this is going to be, this is going to be a sludgy, goofy start, but it's going to be the 45 car and the 21P. They're going to bring it together. I'll let you diagnose what you see, Jonathan.
Seems like the outside line is actually stacking up more than the inside line. Pachalski having a nose, maybe thinking of diving to the inside of Porter here on the initial start. Roselli on the top side wants to come down. Pachalski, Porter almost runs over Anthony Roselli in front. He has to jump on the binders, and then Pachalski just kind of cleans him out. And then Meitzer piles in there as well. They're all stacking up. And, yeah, just a chain reaction crash on the opening segment there, the opening corner, really. But, see, this is the thing where I'm worried about the restarts. I feel like once we get under green, we get some laps, plenty of room to race. I don't think we're going to see this issue. But the initial restarts and starts of this event, that is where you're going to see probably some troubles. And I think it's going to be exactly that, where you have a full field, half a field, I guess, on the inside line, Joe, and they're all just going to stack up and pile in the first corner.
I would agree with that. I think Jamie maybe just got a little bit out from behind himself there, and it does just all stack up. This is a racetrack. We're probably going to see that happen a bit. It almost happened on the restart here, but we're back to green flag racing 4 laps into this one. And it goes back to the gas man, the catfish, whatever you want to call him. Gavin Isley leads the way into turn number 3, and the big dog right behind him. Following, Nick Sheridan leads the bottom side. It does not look like the bottom side quite has what it needs for Sheridan, as Beagle's going to take second from him.
It seems like the bottom line really can make your car rotate really well. You just can't get off the corner. I haven't seen too many drivers actually be able to carry speed, especially down the back straightaway out of corner number 2. We'll have to keep an eye on that throughout the event here, as Cody Higby's starting to push right up against the fresh stuff, and we'll see if that provides the 97 Iceless machine any extra speed here. But now the big dog's having a challenge in the middle groove, almost 3 wide for the lead out of 4.
They were almost, and I saw Cody Higby do the thing that I called out. I said, I don't know if this is going to happen, but Cody Higby just did it. He stuck his right rear just over the berm, and it looks like Isley is almost doing the same there this time. Actually, you know what? I think, we got a yellow out on track, so we're going to halt that thought, and this one's going to go backwards for, I think it's Pat Reiser. I think Travis Cunningham was a little further back than whatever brought this yellow out. We'll check a replay with the 33 car. I don't think it's your boy, but we're going to find out.
He might have bailed
it actually is both of them.
Yep.
All right.
That's coming out of the corner here. Maybe a bit of a squeeze job from Berger. No, they keep it clean.
Is it Pachalski?
And yeah, I think it's Tyler.
Sliding in.
Barely clips him.
Yeah.
Like, I can see what Tyler was going for. Like, I don't think he expected Pat to slow up as much. I think he probably expected Pat to get through the corner a little bit better than that. But just a tough break, and then TC's got to jump on the binders there. I know that he's battling the computer more than he's battling the competition these days when it comes to this series. So hopefully he can get back in this one after having some early issues. But yeah, just tough break for Pat Reiser there and Tyler Pachalski. Yeah,
and I was wondering about that when we pulled back. Reiser and Cunningham were pretty far apart there, but it's just like we say. I mean, we say it so much, it's almost not even worth saying anymore. But it's just that thing. One guy's a little slower into the corner than another, and you end up in the same spot. Green flag comes. Oh man, that was a shot.
We almost saw it there.
We did. That was Nick Sheridan.
I mean, yeah, Sheridan just carried a ton of speed into the corner, and he I don't think expected Isley to have to brake as much as he did to make the corner. That's really what we're seeing, is these cars just kind of stop in the middle of the corner, and if you carry too much speed in, you have to jump on the binders, and you can either spin yourself out or you're taking out the guy in front of you. Tough look there almost for the front of this field, but everybody's sorted itself out, Joe.
Yeah, fortunately, whoa, Adam Hilton slid in a little hot there in turn number 1. We saw it just barely on screen. Ryan Beagle got a little shot in the shorts too in turns 3 and 4, and there's Sharp into Reynolds a little bit. Fortunately, the track's wide, but holy cow, this is a tornado of race cars.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and just the middle of these corners are just stacking guys up, and there, contact between Slate and Reynolds. That's going to cost Reynolds about 3 spots as Porter now trying to slide by. DeRitter and Hilton both through. Good rally from Adam Hilton. He was towards the back of this field
here we
now.
go.
Oh, no! Oh, the announcer jinx is alive and well.
Dang. Wow, that was contact right down the front stretch.
You couldn't have timed that.
No.
You couldn't have timed that better.
Jonathan, you're doing the thing. You're commentator cursing. You're doing it again. Come on, man. No, it's all good. Oh well. I mean, that was
a replay of how that started.
That was brewing for a minute, though. We gotta admit that was coming. They were so close, and the track's getting slick, and it just the way that racing was going, it was just coming. I mean, it was bound to happen at some point. Unfortunately, it's gonna bite Adam Hilton a little bit here. Jonathan, he's going to be on the outside, and he's going to carry so much momentum. There's just nothing you can do.
Yeah, he was flying. I mean, he was really slicing and dicing his way through the field. I mean, this is the lead pack right in front. Like, he's on the edge of the top 5. Al Slate's not expecting Hilton to come with the amount of speed he's coming with. He slides up in front. Hilton tries to jump on the binders to avoid it. He gets into DeRitter and then takes Dean Reynolds in the 79 for a spin there. But, yeah, I mean, when you're flying like Hilton was, what else are you supposed to do other than, maybe you can hope to drill Slight right in the back and hope for the best, and maybe you guys could bump draft down the front stretch, but I guess that could have been a lot worse.
I would agree with that, and I especially think that Dean Reynolds could have gotten a little bit worse out of that, because he pretty much hit the wall when he got tagged, he spun around, and then when he hit the wall, he hit it just about perfectly square, so it just hit the bumper off for the 79 car, and he should be more than fine to keep going. And it didn't look like Hilton got too much damage either, so we should be fine. Going to be 20 laps, on lap 20, I guess, this time, and it's all Gavin Isley up front, although it is a really great race between him, Beagle, and Higbee for the podium right now. We've had a lot of really great racing going on in the middle of the pack as well.
Just great racing all over this facility, and that's what Lucas Oil puts on. I did check it out. It is in the World of Outlaws Dirt console game, so if anybody out there has the game and they're wondering if maybe they can take a Big Block modified for a spin around without the iRacing game, you can on console. Right now, though, I'm seeing a lot of guys fight to get to the bottom side of this racetrack, and I just did not expect to see that, Joe.
Well, Beagle's passing Isley right now for the lead by using the top side, so I don't know if that's necessarily a great idea. Higbee's catching up as well, and they are sticking to the top, although a really big diamond off the corner for Higbee that time. Beagle does lead at the line, and he's going to go to the middle of the racetrack this time to try to defend from the 18 car, and it worked a lot better. Maybe stick with the middle for a little while, Ryan. It got you to the lead, as we are going to be closing in quickly on a third of the way into this race. Ryan Beagle, Gavin Isley, Cody Higbee. That's your top 3, Jonathan. Oh, never mind.
Big move from Higbee there, right to the outside of Isley. Can't make it stick, though, on the corner exit. Looks like Higbee, and I've noticed this from a few drivers, they're carrying a lot of speed into the corners, especially into 1 and 2, but they're sacrificing a lot with exit. You can see again, it just kind of looks like Higbee's not even lifting into the corner and almost letting the car do the work. And then through 3 and 4, nice and smooth. We'll watch what he does here as he tries to clear Isley, and will do so this time. So put the 97 machine up to P2. He'll go to the bottom side, cover off the spot from Isley, but it's about 5 car lengths, maybe 3 car lengths now, as it's starting to really close up, actually. Higbee looks fast, especially through 3 and 4, but I don't know if he's got enough pace to find a way around the big dog yet.
Not quite yet, although it is worth noting Ryan Beagle's second in the championship for a reason, but he's second to Cody Higbee. We got a battle for third going on back after a week off last time. Nick Sheridan trying to get around Gavin Isley, one of the rookie competitors for this season in this series, in that 45S or 045 car. And to the outside, Gavin Isley, a ton of experience with the BRP iRacing series. Isley going all the way up.
Hanging it out.
Man, out. That's a great way to put it. I like that, because you're hanging over the edge of the cliff there. The banking, it tapers off and it's flat up top. where you're seeing there isn't any use up there. That part's flat. So, yeah, I like that. We're going to call it hanging loose.
Yeah, and you know what? I was a hell of a slide job that lap prior by Nick Sheridan. Now Isley's going to cross him back over. Look at Dominic Roselli thinking about splitting the difference. He'll go to the high side now. 3-car battle from third on back.
Matt DeRitter's getting into the picture a little bit there, too. Roselli, oh, man, he's so close to touching the 18 car there. He didn't, though. And Dominic Roselli trying to keep that momentum up from some extremely good performances in that machine these last few races. Nick Sheridan has been very strong since, say, the second week of this series. Even the first one, he had a good run. And he is showing, hey, I might have missed last week, but I am right here. I didn't go anywhere far. And he is keeping a hold of the catfish down on the bottom of the racetrack. You got, it looks like Slight right there. Yep, Slight behind DeRitter. They're slowly catching up and getting involved in this, but not too much. Not too much.
Well, I think if you're Slate in particular, I think you kind of almost want to just see how this thing sorts itself out in front. And with the new tire wear model that this game has, why not just let them see if they burn their stuff up in front, and then maybe if you save a little bit, you can capitalize towards the end of the race and maybe find yourself up near the podium when it's all said and done. Jamie Porter starting to mix his way back into this one as well. Good run from him after we haven't seen him for a couple weeks. Good stuff out of the 45 machine, and Anthony Roselli keeping up his pace as well. Good racing inside the top 10 here.
Definitely so. Why don't we take a second? We haven't done this yet tonight. Let's get an onboard shot. We're going to go on board with Dominic Roselli in car number 80 right here. He's holding down Sheridan and Isley on the bottom of the racetrack by running in the middle. He'll go to the middle again, and you can see that there's still a little bit of grip there, and he's going to hog it all for himself. Now, Sheridan's got a really strategic spot with that 45S car right in front of him, and he slides up in front to block the 80 this time. It is not going to work for Dominic, although he is going to clear Isley, and that's worth noting because Isley has been one of the strongest competitors on the track as we're halfway into this feature.
Isley's had to be in a lot of battles. I love that onboard because you can really see how much these guys are having to slow the car down completely out of the gas through the middle of the corner and then feathering it up off the corner to get back to full song in these big block modifieds, as we see Roselli really making some good time through that middle groove. And now that he's to the outside of Sheridan, Sheridan is not able to use a little extra lane. As he clips the inside barrier, that's going to stack up the field behind him. Not as bad as I thought it might be, but that's a tough break for the rookie there.
Yeah, just an inch too short in that corner, and unfortunately, Nick Sheridan's going to get a fat piece of that tire and stick himself back into 6th place. He was fighting for a podium there, and now has dropped back to 6th. We're checking in with the leader really quick. Ryan Beagle's got almost a 2-second lead over Cody Higbee in 2nd, and then there's about a 1.5 seconds between Higbee and Dominic Roselli, who now has a pretty secure spot in 3rd place. Isley's going to keep him honest, and Slight's going to try to gain on him in the inside of that top 5. I saw Pat Reiser sitting there waiting to get back onto the racetrack. He was waiting for an opportunity to jump back on. He is 10 laps down, and Travis Cunningham pulled off the track a while ago, but he's back out as well. 15 laps down from the leader, so there is Cunningham. Adam Hilton also off the track right now. We got 14 cars on the lead lap still, Jonathan.
Yeah, cars starting to get back into this one. Going to be a little bit of lap traffic in front of our leader. Shouldn't be that big of an issue for the big dog, Ryan Beagle, and that Ackland Insurance 84 RK Automotive on the side of that one as well. Looking strong out front, and this is kind of what we needed to start seeing from the big dog if he's going to try to defend this championship. He's done great to run up towards the front of the field. He's got some podiums, has some really great finishes this year, but he's going to have to start stringing together a couple wins if he wants to run down Cody Higbee and make it close the same way he did last year.
Absolutely, great point. And I'm glad you noted that, because that was something, even though last year, it really, by the middle part of that last race, it was over because of Cody Higbee's poor fortune. But it's something at least I kind of forget about is how much Ryan Beagle had to dig to get into championship contention by the end of the season, because Cody Higbee had such a good, consistent run all the way through the year, and so did Ryan Beagle. That's why he was in contention at the end of it, but still, he had to fight for it, and he earned it. So obviously, Cody Higbee came out swinging this year. Ryan Beagle's now getting into form enough to say, hey, I did win that championship for a reason. It wasn't a flop. It wasn't anything that wasn't deserved. I have a reason to be here, and I have a right to contend for these race wins, which he hasn't done a ton of this season. But tonight, Jonathan, it's been pretty good so far.
He's just the consummate professional, Joe, and he's the same way when he's in his street stock around here in the Southern Ontario region. He's just always in the mix, always shows up when the money's on the line or anytime that there's a big event. Probably could have been should have been a track champion at Oshweekend this year. Got bit by the bad luck in the final race of the season as we see a pretty tight battle between Pat Reiser and Tyler Pacholski in front of our leader. Hopefully those two guys can negotiate that somewhat cleanly and hopefully let our leader by when the time comes through. But just the big dog just knows how to get it done. He is so smooth, so consistent, whether it's in this game or in real life in that 84RK. And honestly, there's a lot of great divisions of dirt racing out there, but in Southern Ontario, the street stock division, Joe, is some of the best racing you will ever see. I highly recommend going back and watching some of the coverage of the street stocks over on the GeForce TV program on YouTube whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, I've checked in with you guys up at GeForce TV a few times, and I will say you guys seem to know how to use your street stocks a little better than the people down in the central PA region. Who said that? That was a weird sound. It must have been the wind. I think this is an interesting stat as we're getting close to 20 laps to go here, Jonathan. So Cody Higbee has, we'll give it a second here for Pat Reiser to get it woed down. So
yeah, he made that interesting in front of our leader, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was a little sketchy. So Cody Higbee has outfinished Ryan Beagle in every single feature we've run this season. We have run 6 so far. I will go back to Lima Land, which was race 3. So there were 2 races. Actually, no, I'm going to go back to the second race. So in Volusia, the first race, Beagle didn't have a great start to the season. In the second race of the year at Lernerville, Higbee finished first, Beagle finished second, so he was right behind him. In Lima Land, 1 week later, Higbee finished second, Beagle finished fourth, so there was 1 car in between them. At Cedar Lake, Higbee finished second, Beagle finished third, so they were right there, 1 and 2, Higbee right in front of Beagle. At Kern County, it was Higbee first and Beagle second, so Beagle right behind him again. And then at Weedsport, Higbee finished third and Beagle finished fourth. So Ryan Beagle has finished directly behind Cody Higbee in 4 of the last 5 races, and the only other one he finished a single car in between, so 2 spots behind. So I think Ryan Beagle might be a little tired of seeing the rear view of the 97 car by this point.
Well, I hope he's not looking too hard in the rearview mirror because Cody Higbee is the car that is directly lined up there to challenge the big dog if he gets to him. We'll have to keep an eye on the split as we see Beagle going around, taking some time really to go around Pacholski there, and that really allowed Higbee to close in within a second now, separating the top 2. And this thing is far from done, Joe.
Absolutely, it is. We've still got 15 laps around this racetrack, and just checking in with the rest of the top 10. So Ryan Beagle leads. We've got Cody Higbee, who's now stuck behind Pacholski. It'll be interesting to see how long this takes. Third place is still Dominic Rosselli. He's got no contention around him. Al Slight in 4th. We've got Gavin Isley in 5th. Dean Reynolds in 6th. Jamie Porter 7th. Anthony Roselli in 8th. Big slider from 2nd place there. It doesn't work. 9th place is Matt DeRitter, and rounding out your top 10 right at the moment is Dean Meitzler. And Tyler Pacholski is hustling Cody Higbee right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what Big Dog needed to see here. Tyler Pacholski racing like he's the rocket man. He's the Ryan Newman of this league. Just doesn't matter if he's a lap down. He is going to race you for every inch of this racetrack, and he is still not done battling Cody Higbee there. Of course, Tyler Pacholski in that 21 is a lap down to these leaders now, and Cody Higbee is through. So with about 10 laps to go, we're coming up to 10 to go. What do you think, Joe? Can Higbee run him down?
Well, if there's any more lap traffic like that, I definitely think it's possible. Higbee was about 9/10 of a second behind before he hit Pacholski. He's now at 1.3. I'm going to check it at the stripe here again, and we're going to see how much of a gap he is gaining or losing. It's about 1/10 of a second smaller this time. So at 1.2 seconds with 10 laps to go, he's going to need to kick it into high gear here if he wants to contend. Ryan Beagle, I don't think he's going to have any contention of traffic the rest of the way, though. Higbee all the way at the bottom, though, and Beagle at the top. Interesting difference in what lines these two guys are driving right now.
Definitely very interesting to watch. Very interesting to see how much of Beagle stuff is being burnt up right now. I feel like it's probably minimal, but you never know with the way these lines run. Was it last week we were talking about tire wear and cars fading, and that's kind of exactly what happened to give Gavin Isley the win, I believe, if I'm thinking of the correct race. But we'll see how this one plays out. That was a good lap from Higby there. It looked like he really closed the gap a little bit significantly, if you will, actually, on that last lap.
I think so, but he slid himself into turn 2 there and might have given it back up immediately. Just going to check in with the last car in the lead lap, Jeff Sharp. So he's coming out of turn number 2 in the 28 car. And going into turn number 2 now is Ryan Beagle. So we're going to come to 5 laps to go. And I don't know, we might get into this. It might get interesting at the very end of this race with that lap traffic, as the 5 fingers are going to go to the big dog, Ryan Beagle. Cody Higby right behind him. I don't know, Jonathan. The gap looks good enough, but you never quite know. There's Jeff Sharp again going through 3 and 4, and Beagle's just coming in through turn 3 now.
I don't think it's necessarily about the lap traffic in front. I think Higby really has something found for this final set of laps, and he's really inching in there. You know, we can almost get both cars in the same camera angle, and that's not what Ryan Beagle wants. But with 4 to go, I think he's safe. I'm kind of surprised that Higby is still trying that low line and that he hasn't wound it up on the outside, especially through 3 and 4. Maybe the top side of the racetrack's just gone away. We'll have to ask him when we get to the podium if he is able to maintain a podium spot. Speaking of podiums, I wanted to give a shout out Dominic Roselli. Following up the rookie. He is in 3rd place right now and running comfortably in there. No threat behind. He's going to probably bring it home in that 3rd spot. And as there's 2 laps to go, and we're seeing some good racing out of the rookie.
Absolutely. The white flag's going to come out this time. Some great racing from all of our rookies this season so far. And one more circuit for Ryan Beagle. Cody Higby still a second behind, so really as long as Ryan doesn't do anything too stupid in the middle of 3 and 4, which he doesn't, he's going to come out of turn number 4 and take his first win of the season. Ryan Beagle wins the Frozen Frenzy at Lucas Oil Speedway. Great race from the 84 car. Cody Higby going to come home second, and Dominic Rosselli going to round out our podium again.
That's got to feel good for the big dog. I mean, Beagle has been, you noted it, Joe, how many times he has finished either right behind or maybe 1 car behind his main championship rival from last year in Cody Higby. He got the championship done, but Higby has had the better of him so far this season, except for tonight where we see the big dog and Ryan Beagle get it done.
That is a great showing, and like we said, first time Beagle finished in front of Higby at the end of the night. That's got to feel good for him as well. We'll give the guys a quick second to jump out of the cars and get their headsets ready and get everything kind of calmed down, maybe get a quick swig of water, and then we will be talking to our top 3, Ryan Beagle in the 84 car, Cody Higby in the 97, and Dominic Roselli in the 80 machine. Just giving them a second here, and we should be able to snag Mr. Beagle and make sure that we got him, and we do. Jonathan, you want to take him, or you want me to go with the winner tonight?
Yeah, you know what? I'll talk to my pal, Ryan Beagle. Why not?
All right, let's get him in here. I'll hand you the microphone, brother. You got him.
Ryan Beagle, it is Jonathan Hatwell up in the booth. You got a copy, big dog?
I do.
Congratulations, breaking through for a win here tonight and finally finishing ahead of your main championship rival from last year, Cody Higby. Talk to us about a smooth race. Started up front, led 55 laps, got it done. Talk to us about your drive tonight.
Yeah, it couldn't have went much better, I guess. It kind of got mixed up with a couple yellows there, falling at the wrong time, put me back to 3rd, and then I kind of knew the line, not just from practice and the heat race and qualifying there, and luckily that was the line the whole night for me, and I just kept running it till somebody was going to show me something different, and luckily nobody did.
And talk to me about that line. Were you expecting it to move at all through the night? It kind of seemed like this racetrack stayed fairly consistent throughout the 75 laps.
I was thinking it was going to get around the top in 1 and 2 as well, but it never did. And I don't know, this place, I haven't had much luck here, but it kind of reminds me of Oswego, so it's kind of the same line I like running at Oswego, so it works out good.
Yeah, I actually noted that at the start of the broadcast that it almost kind of feels like a Merrittville or an Oshweekend style racetrack, something that you're definitely very familiar with. And how much confidence are you feeling now? You finally bested your rival Cody Higbee in the race here tonight. You eat into a little bit of his points lead. What does that mean for the rest of the season here?
I don't know. Cody's been so strong this year. I finally got a setup that I felt good with this week, and hopefully they keep feeling like that. But you never know with this deal. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not too worried about points. I try not to think about it.
Absolutely, I understand that one. Who do you got to thank for the big dub tonight?
I just gotta thank everybody puts this on, Corby, and gotta thank my sponsors, Ackland Insurance, APC Auto Parts, and RK Automotive.
Congrats. There is the big dog, Ryan Beagle, your winner here tonight at Lucas Oil.
Fantastic run from Ryan Beagle tonight, and I'm thinking that might make, and I think for the sake of everybody watching, although the guy who's in second deserves it, it might shake the order up a little bit and make our championship a little closer. But Cody Higbee, we're going to bring him in and talk to him. You got a copy up here in the booth, brother.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Cody. Well, this is the first time this season that the big dog beat you back to the stripe. Second place doesn't look too bad on you, but I don't know. Do you think you had anything for him left in the tank at the end there?
I don't know. Ryan was really good there. He fired off really good right away. And ultimately, he just was better. I don't even know if a restart would have helped me or not. We were all just so close there and kind of strung out. I was searching around looking for anything I can get, but he was really good. So congrats to Ryan.
Absolutely. But hey, none too shabby for yourself there, too. You had a really great car tonight. And I think one thing that's worth noting and something that might be interesting to get your take on there, you closed in a lot when Beagle went around Pachalski, that lap car, but you lost a lot of time trying to get around Pachalski yourself. Racing that lap car a little bit might have hurt you a little more than it helped you.
Yeah, lap traffic was really tough. They were running like right where we wanted to run, kind of. So that made it interesting. And I knew when Ryan got to lap traffic, I had to run hard and clean laps and just try to close up to him and use the lap traffic as a pick, but it really didn't work. So, it was a really clean race, really fun. Like I said, we were all really close. Lap times, everything, I was like 16:0. I'd run 1:15.9, just really couldn't get comfortable. So, yeah, congrats to Ryan, and that was a really good race.
Yeah, and it follows a really great race last week as well. We've had two very strong, good races and not too many yellows in between. Now we're going to Port Royal next week. Do you think that carries forward? What are your expectations for the Speed Palace next time out?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really good group of guys here that we run with. So I can expect clean races all throughout. We all run each other pretty hard, but pretty clean usually. So looking forward to Port Royal, and we're going to have to run up top there. So see if we can make it happen.
That's what we like to hear. And one more thing for you, who do you have to thank and shout out here on the broadcast for putting your car in second place again and having a very strong championship night?
Yeah, definitely. I want to thank you guys for putting this on. It's a great deal to do during the winter here, and thank all the fans watching. We're excited to come back next week.
That's what I like to hear. Congratulations on the second place tonight, Cody.
Thank you.
All right. And final interview for this evening, and a great performance, and a little jealous you get to talk to him because very strong tonight. Always curious to hear what we've got to say. But Jonathan, we're going to hand you Mr. Rosselli.
D Rose, you got a copy. Oh, we got Dominic.
Hello.
Oh, there we go.
There we
We
go.
got you, buddy. There we go. All right. Well, talk to us about a strong third place run. You're really stringing together some solid runs in that 80 machine over the last couple weeks. Feeling good out of the Christmas break, obviously.
Yeah, I think I'm just, like I said last week, I was just starting to get into my rhythm here, but it's really messed up pretty bad in time trials. Wasn't sure where to run. Thought I had a good lap, and that really got me behind the 8 ball. I'm sure I could have ran with Cody and Ryan there in the later part of the race. I was running similar lap times to them, but it's just too little, too late.
Yeah, you mentioned you started 12th. You really had to work through this field, past a lot of race cars out there. Talk to us about how treacherous it may have felt, because it seems like this place is plenty wide for racing, but we saw early in the night that the room really runs out quick around this facility.
Yeah, like it's super weird. Like the line changed like a lot, and it changed quick. Like I worked past Gavin and Nick there in the middle portion of the race, and then all of a sudden I look back and Gavin's coming at me on the top there, and I was just like, okay, like the line switch there, so you got to move up, and it just moved all over tonight. And then towards the end of the race, it just got to be there were 8 different lines that were going the same lap time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, talk to us about how you're feeling. You mentioned that you're getting more comfortable, starting to feel into the zone. Do you think you can break through for a win in your rookie season?
Man, I hope so. Like the last 2-3 races here, I felt very good. I felt really good in practice today, and then all night at Weedsport I felt good, and then all night at Curran I felt good as well. So I'm hoping one of these weeks I'm going to get my big break.
Well, keep driving the way you are, and I don't think it's going to take all that long. Who do you got to thank for another excellent drive, D Rose?
Once again, just got to thank Matt Corby for doing this. Got to apologize for getting into Matt in the heat race there. Just everybody jambling up there, but I appreciate all they do. And, like I said, just got to thank everybody else who comes out, races. We all have a good time, and it's a lot of fun. Just something to do during the off season, and it makes it go by a little faster.
Most definitely, buddy. Congratulations. Keep up the good work, and hopefully this is far from the last time we're talking to you.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you guys again for all you guys do. You guys do a great job.
There he is, Dominic Roselli, coming off another strong podium finish in the BRPtv iRacing series. Joe, good night of racing. Once we got going green there, especially towards the end, lots of different storylines developed, and we got a good battle between some of the very best and a bright future, I guess, or a bright surprise this year in the rookie D Rose.
I would agree with that 100%. I think tonight was a very strong race all around. I think that this is kind of starting to bring us to a point where we start having races like this, hopefully consistently. We got good racing going on. We've got clean racing going on. And even though the car count's down a little from where it was at the end of 2023, I definitely think the cream is coming to the top of the barrel, and we are seeing some really exciting and good stuff. Even when we have a night like this where Ryan Beagle led just so much of this race. He just took over and controlled this event. But none against him. The results are as so. Ryan Beagle wins over Cody Higbee and Dominic Rosselli. We talked to those 3 here. Alan Slight comes home 4th, just one short of an interview. Would have been nice to talk to Alan, but maybe next time. Dean Reynolds gets a top 5. Great performance from the 79 car. I know he's got a crew watching along at home every week. Jamie Porter back on the block in a 6th place run. Not too bad for the 45 team. Gavin Isley ends up 7th. Kind of fell off from the beginning of this race. 8th place for Anthony Roselli. Matt DeRitter is going to end up 9th place, and rounding out the top 10 going to be Nick Sheridan. That's a little lower than we might have expected originally, but Dean Meitzler brings home 11th place. Brian Berger, 12th. Didn't really see or talk about Brian much at all in this race. Jeff Sharp, 13th. Final car on the lead lap at the end. Tyler Pachalski 1 lap down. Definitely hustled the leaders. Pat Reiser had pulled off a while back. He ends up 11 laps behind in 15th. 16th for Travis Cunningham, 16 laps behind. And Adam Hilton, the only one that took it to the trailer for good, he ends the night 17th. So that is the final order from the Frozen Frenzy. Did it live up to the name, Jonathan? Was it enough of a frenzy for you?
I think so. We got some early kind of scrambling off of restarts. We saw a few jingles out there, but by the time it came for actual racing amongst the front of this field, we got some good stuff from Ryan Beagle, from Cody Higbee. We saw the rookie, Dominic Roselli, have a great drive through the field. I don't think we're talking about that enough. Going 12th to 3rd. We don't see moves and advances through the field like that every single week, so that needs to be appreciated, especially from the rookie. And in general, we've just got such a great group of rookies. Roselli, both Anthony and Dominic and Nick Sheridan have all pulled their weight to put on some spectacular performances all season long. And now that Ryan Beagle has got the monkey off his back, picked up a win this year, beat Cody Higbee, sky's the limit for this championship battle, I think.
I would agree with that, and I think we very easily, when we go to Port Royal next time, we could see the question: did we open the can of worms for Ryan Beagle? Is he going to be competitive and winning races more? I mean, once you get that first one in, Jonathan, you can get a couple more.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of setting up to be very similar to last year. I think some of the bigger tracks, some of the I feel like some of the bigger tracks really play into Ryan Beagle's style. He's just so consistent everywhere, but I think this is the portion of the season where we're going to see that 84 really start to string together some solid finishes. I think the biggest thing for Cody Higbee is he hasn't been starting the nights as strongly as he has early in the season. He didn't get fast time tonight in terms of being the fastest qualifier. Didn't go out there and win a heat race. He ran well, but he's going to have to put some work in grabbing those bonus points to make sure that he maintains that top spot.
For sure, for sure. Well, we got 1 week's time to wait, and we'll see if Higbee can bring it back at a track. He's won at Port Royal, so we'll see if he can do it again. The 47 Technology Cyber Nationals, the race is very important to me, special to me. I like to make that race interesting because it's my birthday week, and I'm not a birth week kind of person. It's like you get your day, you don't get a week, but we're going to celebrate mine a little bit early with our friends with the BRP iRacing series and race for a little bit of hardware next week. But hey, got a week and we'll talk about it. So everybody stay safe. I'm looking out my window and I'm seeing our friends from the Great White North, as we call it down in the States. You Canadians have sent a little bit of snow. Thank you for that. But seriously, everybody watching, stay safe, stay warm. The weather is a little crazy this week, so hopefully you can tucker it out and come back in 1 week's time. Be sure to subscribe to the BRPtv YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon. You will know when we go live for the race at Port Royal next time. So on behalf of all of our partners, sponsors, owners, and drivers, on behalf of Murder Graphics, Creative Turnings, Dig Race Products, the Southern Ontario Dirt Show, 47 Technology, MDR Designs, the Susi family still holding strong for Axton upstairs, Jonathan Howe aside me in the booth, Matt DeRitter, and Corby Daniels putting on this show. It's a pleasure every week. I'm Joe Donahue. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys in the next stream. Until then, take it easy and stay safe and stay warm.